feet. Let the gorillas handle it. Snow and ice and all of it, while Victoria City sleeps tonight. Gorillas working before first light. Let the gorillas handle it. Safe and ready, every bit, by the time your day begins.
If you're a property manager, you know winter isn't just about the cold, right? It's a whole season of risk. But what if we stopped looking at snow and ice as just a chore you have to react to? What if it's actually a core part of your business strategy? Yeah, seriously. Let's dive in, because being prepared gives you a massive strategic advantage. You know how this goes, it's almost poetic. One minute it's just rain in the evening, next thing you know, the sidewalks are white. The weather can just turn on a dime like that. What was just a wet parking lot yesterday can be a super dangerous sheet of ice by the time people show up for work. It literally happens that fast. And boom, there it is. 1 minute, everything looks totally fine. The next, the temperature plummets and your property becomes a minefield of invisible dangers. And that overnight switch, that's exactly the threat we've got to get out in front of. Okay, so let's really talk about this threat. Because here's the thing. It's not always the huge, dramatic blizzard you see on the news that's the biggest problem. Nope. More often than not, it's those quiet, sneaky weather patterns that create the most dangerous situations. And the number one bad guy in the story? Black ice. You know, that stuff you can't even see? It usually shows up from a super common weather pattern, especially in places like Victoria. You get some rain during the day, and then whoosh, the temperature drops below freezing overnight. That is the perfect recipe for a nearly invisible, incredibly slippery sheet of ice. But the threat isn't just about someone getting hurt, is it? It's about money. It's financial. For a property manager, a patch of ice isn't just a maintenance task. It's a huge, flashing neon sign that says liability. And the scale of this problem is, well, it's staggering. We're not just talking about a few bumps and scrapes here. We are talking about thousands of people ending up in the hospital every single winter from falling on ice. And for many of them, these are serious, life-changing accidents. So what does that mean for your business? Well, every single one of those thousands of falls is a potential lawsuit. That's the scary part. Just one slip and fall incident on your property can kick off a major lawsuit that hits your bottom line and, of course, your reputation hard. So who needs to worry about this? Just take a look. If you manage a strata, a retail store, an office building, heck, even hospitals or schools, you have what's called a duty of care. That's a legal responsibility, year-round, to keep every single person who steps onto your property safe. Residents, customers, employees, you name it. Okay, so how do you actually manage this kind of risk without tearing your hair out? Well, it takes a totally different way of thinking. You have to shift from reacting to a problem to preventing it from ever starting. And that's where this much smarter strategy called anti-icing comes into play. And this really lays it all out. See, the old way, de-icing, is when you're trying to clear ice after it's already there, stuck to the ground. It's harder, it's more expensive, you're basically fighting a battle you're already losing. The proactive way, anti-icing, is about treating the surfaces before the freeze, so the ice can't even form in the first place. It's just safer, smarter, and way more effective. And this whole proactive approach, it's not just guesswork. A real professional service doesn't just, show up with a shovel and a bag of salt when you call. No way. They follow a very specific, structured playbook that's all about making sure you're safe and that the service is reliable. So what's in this playbook? Well, here you go. It all starts with them constantly watching the weather, not just one forecast, but multiple. Then, based on that info, they send teams out before the storm even hits to put down salt. If snow starts piling up, they come back to clear it. Then they do another treatment after to make sure there's no leftover ice. And, this is the really important part, it all wraps up with detailed reports. Now that reporting, it's so much more than just a bill. It is your legal shield. Getting those before and after photos on the same day, having detailed service records, that's not just paperwork. That is your proof of due diligence. It's a powerful defense in your back pocket that shows you did everything you were supposed to do to keep people safe. So when you put this all together, what do you really get from having a long-term service agreement?
Well, it boils down to three huge things. You get priority, you get proof, and you get the one thing every property manager desperately wants: peace of mind.
And just look at the difference here. When a big storm is rolling in, if you don't have a plan, you're in total panic mode, right? You're on the phone, scrambling, trying to find anyone who's available, and probably paying a premium for it. But if you have a plan, you're calm. You can relax because you know your property is already a priority and the pros are already on it. You know, at the end of the day, that's the sign of a really great service company. They're almost invisible. Your tenants, your customers, they never see the 3 a.m. salting runs or the constant weather monitoring. All they see is that the sidewalks are safe, the parking lot is clear, and they can just go about their day. Everything just works.
So really, it all comes down to this one question. We know winter weather is going to happen. That's a guarantee. But how you prepare for it, well, that's a choice. So when that forecast takes a turn for the worse, is your property going to be a liability or is it going to be ready?